Let's talk about that elephant in the room, shall we? Oh, come on, you know the elephant. That elephant that's making your mouth all dry and your heart's pounding so loudly you think it's going to jump out of your chest. And your palms, oh my God, they're so sweaty. You know that elephant. That elephant called nervousness. Yeah, and I bet you think yours is bigger than mine, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I want you to know, first and foremost, according to psychologists, the number one fear in adults is public speaking. So we're all pretty nervous. Yeah, we are. Mark Twain wrote years ago that there are two kinds of presenters. There are those that are nervous, and there are those that are lying. We're all nervous. We are all nervous, okay? The misconception, though, is this: nervousness is bad. Au contraire, the opposite's true. Nervousness is this fantastic energy. It's the fight or flight syndrome, the base chakra, whatever you believe, but it is survival. And that energy is where your body is turbocharged and it's coursing through your veins and it's creating laser focus on what you are doing right this second to survive, which in our case would be presenting, talking to a group of people. And if I'm laser focused on what I'm doing, chances are I could be elevating my presentation. If I know how to tame that energy and convert it into fuel that will support my messages. Y'all interested in learning what that might be? Excellent. Let's go there. So, if we need to learn to manage our fears, manage that energy, that nervousness, and convert it, what are some of the things we can do to do that? So I'm going to suggest that it's as simple as breath, breathing. A couple of ways breath can help. First and foremost, if you're having trouble thinking, stop, take a breath. The idea will come to you. More importantly, breath is life, right? And if we're stuck in survival mode, fight or flight, breath will give us life. Let me give you an example of something that I find fascinating. In the 1940s, there was a gentleman who invented this technique to help women have children without medical intervention. It was called Lamaze, and it's still going big today. So what he did was he strung together some breathing techniques. That's it, breathing. Techniques that helped women and help them today to calm their fears and anxieties and nervousness, to lower the fear and lower the pain, and help them birth their children. Now, I want to propose to you folks that we are not birthing children here. We're simply sharing ideas. So I'm thinking with that logic, breathing techniques might actually help us tame that nervousness, that elephant, and convert that energy, that wildness, into something that fuels our presentation, right? Makes sense. I do something and have for many, many moons called the 4-5. The 4-5 is a breathing technique I do for about 10 to 20 minutes at any given time. I'll do it 6 times if I have something quick I need to get through that's a little bit nerve-wracking. It's pretty simple. It's absolutely free, and it's available to you 24/7. So I'm going to teach you this quick technique. All right? I hope you'll take it home and tell me what it's like for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in through our nose, and you're going to hold it. You're going to breathe in to the count of 5, okay? Then you're going to hold that breath to the count of 5. You're going to release that breath through your mouth to the count of 5, and then you're going to live empty. Now, did I mention that when you breathe in through your nose, you're going to breathe it all the way down to your diaphragm? That's located just a little bit below your belly button, okay? That's really important because it pulls the air all the way through your body. So let's all give it a try. Everybody kind of uncross legs and get yourself squared away. Now I want you to breathe in through your nose and then just follow me, all right? Breathe in, 2, 3, keep going, 4, 5, hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, release it through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, live there, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now you can already feel a little calmness. Imagine if you did this 5, 6, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. It brings that nervousness, which is still very much there, to a place where we can control it, where we can actually use it. Another great way to manage our nervousness is through meditation. Now, I would venture to say that the 4-5 is a meditation. It's a breathing meditation. And you can also do a physical meditation, which would be like yoga. Or you can do other kinds of meditations. There are myriad types of meditation out there. And the good news is that there are apps for that, of course, and there are YouTube videos. So get a little interested in it. This will help you manage fears and anxieties for everything you do in life, not just presentation. If you've got a talk you've got to have with a partner, or you're nervous about going to a party, these are things that help you manage some of those nerves, okay? They work for presentation, they work in life. Another great way to help you with this pink elephant, okay, is visualization. Visualization is not new either, but I will tell you, it is brilliant. So what visualization looks like is you visualize a winning success for yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Back in the 60s, there was a study done. They used test groups of athletes in 5 different sports, I believe. In each sport, they broke the group up into 3 distinct studies. The first group, in whatever sport, we'll say football, strictly went out and practiced. They practiced the entire time through this study, physically out there, running the field, throwing, catching, okay? The second group, they strictly visualized. They never got out there on the field. They simply visualized what it would look like to play against their opponent and win. They visualized the touchdowns, the home runs. They visualized the other team's strikeouts and misses. They visualized the audience on their feet applauding. They just visualized the entire time. The third group did both. They split their time between physically practicing and visualizing. And in all the sports, group number 3 played the best, whatever the sport, okay? There's something to this visualization. There's something to already seeing a winning outcome. There's something to feeling that win, anticipating that win, anticipating that feeling of, wow, I knocked that out of the park. There's something to it, guys. So spend a few minutes every day visualizing what it feels like to win that presentation for you, all right? Now, all of this is wonderful, wonderful information. But remember, we haven't even created our presentation yet. So there's some other things that we've got to consider. something that will really help you manage your nervousness and is quintessential to your presentation is to know your topic. You need to be the expert. You need to know what you're talking about. There's actually a graph of an iceberg, and the part of the presentation is that 20% top of the iceberg, whereas that 80% underneath that nobody ever sees on an iceberg is the foundation. That is all the information you have, 100% your information. You're only showing 20, but that 80 that you own, that you know, that might not be relevant in this talk, is going to give you that confidence to deliver knowing you know. So knowing your topic is paramount, okay? Knowing your audience also becomes very important. Now, you're going to hear me say this a lot later on, but let's really drive this home, okay? If my audience, if I don't know my audience, and I'm going to give a talk to you on the importance of vegetables, okay? Why are vegetables so incredibly important in your diet? That talk is going to look very different if I'm speaking to a group of kindergartners versus a group of professional nurses, doctors. You'd agree, right? It's going to look very different. So it's very important to know your audience. It's like a conversation when you're giving a presentation. And so if I don't know what you need, you want, you think, what my tone would be best appreciated, if I don't know my audience, I can't give you any of those things, okay? Not thoughtfully. So we have to know our audience. Now the last thing I want to focus on, interestingly enough, is focus. I want you to remember when you're standing up here, if you focus on what you know, and let go of all of these unknowables, okay? You're going to be way ahead of the game. All these unknowables here, they create fear. Julie Cameron, a beautiful writer, she writes some great books. She has an acronym, FEAR, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. So I can get myself all worked up over these fears of these unknowable things that I've created in my brain, but they're unknowable. It's false evidence. There is no evidence to say my PowerPoint isn't going to work, or I'm going to completely forget how to talk. That's crazy stuff, and it'll make you crazy. So if we focus on what we know. Now remember, you're going to know your topic. You will be the expert. You're going to know who you're talking to, your audience. You're going to have visualized this being a winning experience for you and your audience. You're going to have meditated to calm that energy. You're going to have learned to breathe through discomforts. And you are going to convert all of that crazy energy into fuel to elevate your presentation. Right? Now, if all of those things are true, then you need to know that there are 5 golden elements, must-haves, to every great presentation. These are non-negotiables, by the way. 5. That's it, 5. You have to have an objective. An objective, a promise, a premise, a problem. You have to have a reason to stand up here and want to talk to a group of people. So, an objective, number one thing to have. It should be clear. When I say clear, I mean crystal clear. I mean 1 sentence, maximum 3, clear. You could actually give your talk in that one objective. Now, you're not going to illuminate it and push it through the goal line, but you could actually give what the whole thing's about in 1 to 3 sentences. Real important, because the clearer you are on the objective, the clearer everything else that goes into a great presentation will be as well. Okay? The second thing you really, really need for a great presentation is an attention grabber. Something that grabs all the energy in the audience and focuses it right here. Sounds like a nightmare, but it is actually necessary for a great presentation. If you fail at this, the rest of your presentation will be exponentially harder on you. You must get all the attention on you immediately. And that's not so easy to do, because everyone has a whole lot of things they got to get done. Their lists of to-do are in their head. They've got this nasty little thing called cell phone, which is really just a walking office. So if you don't get their attention, boy, they've got 25,000 other things they could be doing. You've got to get their attention. Statistics will show you it needs to happen within 30 seconds. Get their attention. Again, you need to know your audience, because if you don't know your audience, imagine how silly you're going to look if you walk into a room of nurses and you try to get their attention the way you would with your 2-year-olds. It's a no-brainer. You got to know your audience. You've got to know how to get their attention in 30 seconds. And we will cover all of these in depth soon. Third thing you're going to need is content. This is the body of your presentation. These are the supporting details or evidence of your objective, your premise, your problem, or your promise, right? These are the supporting facts and figures, statistics and quotes, and most important, stories, relatable stories. Stories is how we ingest information best. That is the way we work as humans. And if you don't believe me, review your day today. You have touched story somewhere, whether it was through something you read, a film you watched, a book, a novel, a great Facebook post. Something came to you that was compelling with a story. And I venture to say you remember it above all the other things that have happened to you today. Story that supports your objective. Your premise, your promise, or your problem. It must support that. Now, if I've given you all of those things, and I do not have a memorable and strong closing, you'll leave without understanding anything you just heard. So that makes our closing every bit as important as our attention-getting, grabbing introduction, right? Those two bookends, really important elements to a great presentation, okay? You're going to actually spend more time here than you are on the body. These two places are where you hook and close the deal. Whether it's a sales talk or an inspirational talk, a motivational talk, a statistical talk, I don't care. This is where you close the deal. So it has to be strong, and it has to be memorable. The last, and arguably most important, is going to be your delivery. Your delivery is something, good news, you can learn to do very well. Very well. Using the strengths you already have. But you're going to need to learn to be aware of messaging. It isn't just words, gang. It's your body language. It's knowing how to match an action to the verb. It's understanding what you're saying through wardrobe, posture, movement, words, tone, pace. All of these things are part of your delivery. And that becomes exceptionally important when you want to give an amazing presentation. It's a lot, but it's all doable. and I think you're going to enjoy the ride.